Disney might have Toy Story and Pirates of the Caribbean, but not all attempts equal big bucks. We're breaking down 9 mega-expensive Disney movies that crashed and burned at the box office. From bloated budgets to lackluster ticket sales, these are the flops Disney would rather forget. But we definitely won't let them. You'd think a story about two elf brothers trying to bring back their dad would have been a sure hit, especially with Tom Holland, Chris Pratt, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus lending their voices. But Onward just didn't connect. Sure, $128 million in ticket sales sounds decent, but when you factor in the massive budget and expectations, it tanked hard, losing Disney over $77 million. For a movie that should have hit the magic mark, it came up short. Disney took a big swing with A Wrinkle in Time, a live-action adaptation of a beloved novel. Directed by Ava DuVernay and starring big names like Reese Witherspoon, Oprah Winfrey, and Mindy Kaling, it had all the right ingredients, except the audience love. It pulled in $133 million, but that still left Disney with a loss of around $73 million. Fans of the book weren't impressed, and the film just couldn't live up to the hype. One of Disney's most expensive films to date, John Carter had a whopping $350 million budget. It was an epic sci-fi adventure starring Taylor Kitsch, Willem Dafoe, and Bryan Cranston based on the classic Edgar Rice Burroughs stories. But despite all the action, drama, and even a touch of romance, audiences just weren't feeling it. Disney ended up losing a massive $200 million, making this one of the biggest flops in their history. A title like Mars Needs Moms might sound fun, but the reality? Not so much. This feel-good story about a kid realizing how much his mom means to him while she's kidnapped by Martians fell flat with audiences. The movie only brought in $45.7 million and cost Disney a painful $132 million in losses. Mars Needs Moms didn't just flop, it crashed and burned in spectacular fashion. After National Treasure, it seemed like Nicolas Cage could do no wrong. But The Sorcerer's Apprentice didn't work the same magic. Cage stars as Balthazar Blake, a sorcerer who trains a new apprentice. But despite some solid visual effects and praise for the cast, audiences just weren't sold. With $200 million at the box office against a $150 million budget, Disney didn't walk away a winner here. Factor in other costs, and this one's a financial loss for the studio. Jackie Chan usually guarantees a good time, but Around the World in 80 Days just didn't make the cut. With a $110 million budget, the film only pulled in around $75 million worldwide. Critics weren't impressed either, pointing out how little resemblance it bore to Jules Verne's beloved novel. It's now remembered as one of Disney's bigger flops, failing to capture the magic of its source material or the hearts of audiences. You'd think a movie based on one of Disney World's most popular rides and starring Eddie Murphy would be a hit, right? Well, The Haunted Mansion couldn't quite live up to the hype. Released shortly after the massive success of Pirates of the Caribbean, this spooky comedy struggled to stand out. It's estimated Disney lost around $25 million on this one. The lesson here? When you go head-to-head with pirates, you better bring your A game, and The Haunted Mansion didn't. Disney took a big risk with Treasure Planet, a sci-fi retelling of Robert Louis Stevenson's classic Treasure Island. Despite earning an Academy Award nomination for Best Animated Feature, audiences just weren't sold. Starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Emma Thompson, the film lost Disney about $70 million. It might have had big dreams, but Treasure Planet never quite took off with viewers. It's hard to believe now, but Hocus Pocus, yes, the cult Halloween classic, and was actually a flop when it first hit theaters. Released in the middle of summer and a week after Jurassic Park smashed box office records, Hocus Pocus didn't stand a chance. Disney lost around $17 million on the film. But here's the twist. As time passed, the movie found its audience, becoming a must-watch every Halloween season. And now, Hocus Pocus 2 is set to hit theaters, proving that sometimes flops can turn into fan favorites.